What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's going on? Hope all is well, love and light. It's your guy JD here, live and direct in Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, baby. Oh yeah. So first and foremost, guys, I want to start off by saying I appreciate all the shout outs, everybody that contacted me, checking up on me to make sure that I'm okay. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love. All is well. All is well. So this video is just an update, of what I have encountered, with this whole car accident situation. And I always try to inform my viewers about do's and don'ts when you navigate in this country. It's unfortunate that we are gringos and we get gringoed. And if we don't know certain things, they will gringo you. So I'm making this video primarily to tell you guys the do's and don'ts when it comes to renting a car, especially renting cars from locals. And I've always been one to try to um, you know, support local businesses here in Dominican Republic. But a lot of the locals here make it hard for us to do that when they are being dishonest and being, untrustworthy. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm just going to give you guys the backstory and then all of what I encountered today. So yesterday I was leaving Bayaguana, Dominican Republic. I spent the weekend out there, had an amazing time. On my way back to Puerto Plata, I had to pass through Santo Domingo. So I'm actually on the highway. A local was driving an old pickup truck, decided that he just wanted to stop. He just stopped out of nowhere. I ended up smacking into him. Okay, and so yeah, that's pretty much what happened. He didn't have a license plate. He didn't have insurance, of course. He didn't have any of that. So he was just like, his car wasn't affected. You know what I'm saying? So they pretty much just went about their business. I'm freaking out only because I'm in Santo Domingo. Shout out to Junior Man from the Dominican route. He came and sat with me until the tow truck company came. So now, yeah. So after I had gotten to the accident, I had to maneuver myself off the highway and parked into a ferreteria out there. Now at that point, like I said, this is around 3 o'clock. Sun starts to go down around 7, 8 o'clock. I'm like, yo, I can't be stuck out here. So I'm like, let me start reaching out to whoever I can reach out in Santo Domingo, in which Junior, as I said, he came, sat with me. I called the rental car people to explain to them the situation. So at that point, they're telling me that, I gotta pay 8,000 pesos. Okay, I had to pay 8,000 pesos to have the car towed from Santo Domingo to Puerto Plata, right? So I ended up paying 8,000 pesos. Now, I will tell you this, guys, because there's certain things that you need to know. I met a gentleman at the cafeteria. For those of you guys who didn't check that my last live, because I did a live as soon as it happened. I met a gentleman there, and he was from the Bronx, and he said, technically, when you're renting a car in Dominican Republic and there's an accident, the insurance company is responsible for providing transportation in terms of towing the car from wherever you at. So you guys keep that in mind. If you were ever in an accident, okay, the insurance company pays for that with no charge. Whether you in Santo Domingo and you got to get to what's the name of Punta Cana. No matter where you at in Dominican Republic, they will tow the car. Okay, so I ended up paying 8,000 pesos. They dropped the car here at my apartment. Okay, so now today I'm waiting on the rental car company to get here. They got here. They're accessing the car or whatever, and as I'm looking over the contract, guys, the contract, it stated in the contract. Now it wasn't nothing that was uh already like typed in the contract. This was something that was written in the contract, and it stated in the contract that I would be responsible for basically 450,000 Dominican peso deductible, which comes out to be about $7,000. Now we all know in the United States, deductibles in the United States don't even cost that damn much. That they don't even cost that much. I mean, the most you pay for a deductible is no less than 500 and no more than 1,000, maybe 1,500, depending on what insurance company you use, right? So, and excuse the background, guys. My apartment is in the Dominican neighborhood. Gotta love it, you know. So you got music and all of that stuff going on here in the background. So, so yeah, so they get here and they start to assess the hold on, guys. Yeah, they assessing the car. Now I just kind of felt like there was some BS about to be played with me. So at that point I called my they couldn't get the car started, so they said they would be back. So at that point I said, let me get on the phone and call my builder. You know, I told him, he already knew what was going on. So he came, he said, Jay, I'll be there in 15 minutes. So he gets here. So by the time he gets here, they already here, whatever. So he pulls up on the scene, and now he's telling them in Spanish, like, you know, he was like, okay, if he's responsible for the car, I'll have my people take care of it. You know what I mean? To try to save me some money, you know? So they were like, no, 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 we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna send it to our people. So he's like, well, where does that state where does that where does that state in the contract that he cannot fix the car himself? So they were going back and forth, back and forth. At that point he was like, Jay, call your lawyer, right? Call your lawyer. So they're doing all of this negotiations in Spanish, you know what I'm saying? My builder's he's going, I mean, like, he's really fighting for me, and this is one thing I will tell you guys, you gotta make sure that you have somebody that's going to advocate for you, especially if you don't speak the language. And it's very important for us to start learning this language, especially if you invest in your money and plan on living out here. We have to do better in terms of learning the culture so that we don't get ourselves jammed up in situations, because them knowing that we're gringos, they'll do whatever they can to try and gringo you, especially if you don't know any better. So they assess the car or whatever. They're telling me, oh, don't worry, don't worry. I told them straight up, I don't have the money. I don't have, I've been here almost a month. I had a lot of things to do financially. Like, I'm pretty much tapped out. I'm on a budget. So, oh, don't worry about it. So then he tells my builder, it's going to cost me about 280,000 Dominican pesos, guys. We're talking about 5,000, a little over $5,000 to fix the car, right? Now listen to this. I'm saying to myself, now if a Dominican got into an accident, and we all know a lot of Dominicans don't have that kind of money. So what happens if a Dominican gets into an accident like that? What happens, right? So my builder's texting me, while he's saying all of this BS. That's just too much money. It's way too much money, right? So at that point, he told his sister, which is the owner of my apartment. His sister owns this apartment. She owns this building. And she just so happens to be from Connecticut, lives in the United States, and speaks English very well, right? And her husband's Dominican, so they have a lot of business here. And then, they're pretty much well known in Puerto Plata. She said, let me see your contract. She said, because she said they're trying to get over on you, and it's not right. It's not right what they're doing. She said, that's just way too much money. So I gave her the contract. She went and she said, I'll be back. She went, she did her investigation, and then at that point she came back and she told me, she said, this contract that you have here is it's illegal. It's illegal what they're doing, and you know, you don't really have to pay anything if you don't want to. So we just needed to get some clarification on that. Only because I don't want any problems. You see what I'm saying? I don't want no problems, and I was willing to take care of the damages, but at a Dominican price. You know what I mean? Charge me what you would charge a Dominican. You see what I'm saying? So so at that point, my builder had this other older gentleman get in the car. We got in the car and we went to this place here in Puerto Plata. I don't know what the name of it is, But basically, they took me there to explain the situation, right, to the guy. Now, I'm skipping a story. When the sister went and did her investigation, she came back and told me that they didn't even file an insurance claim on the car. Okay, they never filed. They have about 72 hours to file a claim, which they never filed the claim, right? So at that point, we went, my builder and this gentleman, this older man, took us to a place here in Puerto Plata to explain to them the situation. They bought the contract along with me, and they explained to him what was going on. And what the gentleman said. I think he had to be like a police officer or somebody that's knowledgeable that handles that. And what he said to them is that this situation happens a lot with Americans, gringos, foreigners, you know, and we have to be careful. And you guys need to know this. So I'm telling you, if in case you rent a car from a local business here in wherever you are in Dominican Republic, if they do not offer you insurance, that's illegal. It is illegal. There's supposed to be insurance on every vehicle that's being rented here from a person who is renting cars in Dominican Republic. If they do not give you the car with full coverage, it is illegal. And you only have to pay if you want the full, because you got to know this. If you want full coverage on that car, you have to pay 1 mil peso, which is like $18 to $20. Okay, and that covers you from the whole time you're renting that car. If in case you get into an accident and you leave the car, they're gonna recoup that money because you don't already paid for the insurance on it. For the insurance to cover you. Okay, so basically, what they were trying to do to me is they don't even know it yet because I was actually waiting on them to tell me how much the car is going to be. So after we left that place, where they took me, we took it further and went to my lawyer. My lawyer looked over the contract, and he said the same thing. He said this is illegal what they're doing, and you don't have to pay a dime. Okay? He said you're not responsible for paying anything. So once they know, and I haven't heard back from them, only because I'm guessing that they thought that I was here by myself and didn't have anybody to advocate for me. But little do they know, I got somebody here. My builder and he told me, he said, Jay, you got to stop trusting people in this country. You have to stop. He said, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of money with people here. He said, you should have told me certain things he was going back and forth with me about. And I told him, I said, look, at this point, man, I'm in Santo Domingo. All I'm concerned about is getting my ass back to Puerto Plata with this car. You know what I mean? So I was willing to pay the 8,000 because he was questioning that too. He was questioning that too. So once he questioned that, they basically what the car rental place that I'm renting from, what they did was they took the cheapest insurance that they could possibly find. You know what I mean? And that just goes to show you, like, they don't care. They don't care because if it was a premium insurance company, they would have paid for the towing. So these kind of things you have to know when you're renting a car. You ask these questions. If in case that I get into a car accident, who's responsible for towing the car wherever I'm at? You know what I mean? You ask that already knowing that, and if they tell you something different, you let them know that you gotta let them know that and that you're aware. You let them know straight up. I thought that it was free. The insurance covers that, in which they do. They cover it. So like I said, I ended up paying the 8,000 pesos. So I looked over the contract. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find this contract so that you guys can see what they did in the contract. Let me see. Where's my bag? The heck did I do with my bag? Okay, here it goes. I'm gonna show you exactly what they wrote, and it wasn't like it was like I said, it was typed in. They wrote this in. They wrote it in. I'm gonna show you guys. Because my lawyer looked at the contract and he was like, nah. And he told me, if you have any problems tomorrow, you call me right away and I'll go down there with you myself. So basically, guys, in the contract, I don't know if it appears backwards, but they literally wrote that in 450. 5,000 Dominican pesos is what I'm responsible for deductible. Okay, this is what they wrote. So, and then on top of it, I never signed it. So it's really null and void. I never signed the contract. You know what I mean? It was never signed. So just know that um, if they do not offer you full coverage, in which they're supposed to offer you full coverage, and if it's not offered, it's illegal. It's illegal. See, what they were trying to do was they were trying to extort. They wanted the $5,000 and still claim it as an accident. So they were going to get the money, the $5,000, that what they thought they was going to get, $5,000 from me on top of claiming do an insurance claim. You know what I mean? So this is what goes on. It's just it's really disheartening, when we got to go through these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? It makes people not want to live here. It makes people not want to invest here. It seems it's like we as foreigners, man, we are money grab. We are a money grab, and we need to educate ourselves on every single thing, especially when navigating in this company. Whether you open up a business, renting cars, and making sure that a lot of us. I know me, when I first started traveling in the Dominican Republic, renting cars, I used to rent them from the airport. They were no better. They're no better because when you rent a car from the airport, you're paying for insurance on the car through like Expedia or one of those third parties or whatever. You pay for the insurance, and then once you get to Dominican Republic, they tell you that the insurance is not covered. You gotta pay Dominican Republic insurance, and then you gotta call back Expedia, whoever you got the insurance from, and ask for your money back. It's happened to me a number of times, and this is one of the reasons why I was like, you know what? I'll just, rent from a local. But like I said, renting from a local is no better because they tell you that you're responsible for the car if in case you get into an accident in which the car is already covered through the insurance companies. This is how they getting us. This is how they getting us. It's a sad situation. It really is. Dominican Diaries. I'm glad I was able to help out my brother. Man, yo, Dominican Diaries, you are a lifesaver. You really are. Shout out to you. Shout out to Magulian. Shout out to everybody in Santo Domingo and all my peoples that reached out to me. And I always say, guys, it's so important for us to connect with each other and make these connections only because God, I say it all the time. God forbid something happens to you, who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? If I didn't have any connections in Santo Domingo, I'd have just been stuck out there. Eventually, the guy came, but just to have somebody there with me through the process was just I felt that ease. You know what I'm saying? Only because Santo Domingo is not my territory. You know what I mean? I've only visited Santo Domingo about twice. You know what I mean? And just getting into the accident, that was my third time in Santo Domingo. So yeah, we just have to make those connections with each other and solidify them because the last thing you want to be is somewhere and you caught in a situation and you don't got nobody to call to your rescue, man. You know? Yeah. Um, just showing some of the comments on stage and reading some of the comments. Uh, let's see. I'm actually on my phone doing this. Uh, what's going on? Shout out to Flex Mundo. If a legit Flex Mundo says if it's a legit car rental company, but local rentals don't usually do that. But this is my thing. I mean, this guy he's not just renting out one car. We're talking about he's got multiple cars that he's renting out. And what I realize is this is a way for them to capitalize on us. They make us pay for the damages. And even my landlord that I'm renting from, my builder sister, she told me, she was like, look, you really don't have to pay anything, but if you want to, you could just play the I don't got no money. I don't have no money. My precious. She's like, make all kinds of excuses as to why you don't got any money. You know what I mean? And then like I said, once they told me, my lawyer was like, you don't have to pay anything, nothing. So tomorrow We're going back down to that place where they took us, because there's something that we have to file just to show present to them. You know what I mean? We have to have that to present to them to show them that J Day's not paying y'all nothing, you know. So we that has to be taken care of tomorrow. But yeah, y'all really need to know that. Number one, you get into an accident, you don't have to pay a towing fee. Okay? Sure, they must provide insurance, full coverage for you. Full coverage, they have to provide that for you. And if they don't provide it, it's illegal. It's illegal. My builder didn't even know that. He was like, I just learned this today, you know. So me and him both learned something new today. And I'm anytime something happens to me, man, you know, y'all gonna be the first to know it. You know, I want people to be knowledgeable of things that go on in this country. You know, if in case you may encounter the same encounter the same situation. You know, we all need to be knowledgeable and share informative information so that we can navigate through this country. You know, and doing our research and stuff like that too. It's so important. It's so important, man. It really is. But other than that, I've been enjoying my time here in Dominican Republic. I got a couple of more days to go. I got some more land. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to put out on the channel only because my GoPro, the car accident happened and then my GoPro got wet. I gotta return it back when I get back to the States. So I don't even know if the footage that I took on it, am I going to be able to upload it on the channel, but I'm hoping that I can. But I do have some content. I took a lot of personal time for myself too. You know, I had to take, and that's another thing, guys. I'm talking to my lawyer. Um, and I'm going to be doing an interview with my lawyer because he reached out to me. He said, J Day, the last time I did an interview with you, I got a lot of clients, man. He's like, I'm gonna need you to do another interview so I can promote my business. I said, Fernando, I got you. He takes care of me, I take care of him, and that's how it should be. It's just very important for us to make connections with trustworthy Dominicans. And I will say, man, my lawyer and my builder and his family, they have advocated for me with a lot of shit that, I mean, there's a lot more that's happened that I wish not to discuss right now. But it took me to go through the mill to find what I got, and that's just priceless. The fact that they really fought, with this whole situation because they know that I was being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Well, they were about to be. And I already knew. I was like, nah, let me call my builder. Once I seen them, because I already knew they was gonna try to get over. And the fact that they put me on it, and his sister was like, no, these kind of things you should know. We work hard. I didn't even realize that the sister spoke English the way she did. I had no idea because she's always speaking Spanish. She was like, I'm from Connecticut. I'm like, oh wow. And she told me, she said, we work so hard. They have no idea how hard we work and back in the States, and we come here to spend our money and have a good time and invest. And, they want to take full advantage, of that. You know what I mean? She said, so you have to be really, really careful, when you're doing business with some of these local people, man. You really do. But I'm fortunate to have him. I'm not even gonna hold you. I am fortunate and blessed to have my builder and his family, advocating for me. And I always said that to you guys. Trying to find a local that's trustworthy is like a diamond in a rut, especially nowadays because everybody's got the hidden agenda. They may appear to be nice. Oh, I'll help you, and oh yeah, they say they'll help you, but there's definitely a hidden agenda behind it. And my builder told me, he told me last night. He said, like I'm gonna say it again. He told me, stop trusting people here. My lawyer told me the same thing. He said, J Day, I know my people. He's like, you just and it's sad. It's sad when you hear that, from a local that's telling you something about their people. Like, take heed to it, guys. This is what they're telling me, and at this point, I've always been that person to give a person the benefit of the doubt. Innocent until proving, a guilty type. type shit. You know what I'm saying? If it's a legit car rental company, but local rentals don't use it. I think I read that. Yeah, so it's just one of those situations. So, like I said, tomorrow they have no idea what they're in store for. No idea because they're not getting anything. Here it is. I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, because I was expecting to kick out maybe about, and because his sister told me she said the damages for those of you guys that haven't seen the car. She told me she said the damages that's been done on that car. It should not cost you no more than 50,000 pesos, even if you had to pay it out of pocket. And 50,000 pesos is like about $800. It's about 800, and here it is. They try to charge me a little over 5 grand, 280,000 Dominican pesos is what they're asking for. Yeah, yeah, they was trying to get over on me like a fat rat. So that's the situation. I'm not sure how this is all gonna play out tomorrow, but I'm protected. My lawyer told me if you have a problem, I'm gonna come down there. You just call me and let me know. And this is the kind of lawyer you need. I mean, my lawyer speaks English, so there's no barrier. With him and doing business and things of that nature. You know what I mean? And you know what he told me? Because I'm waiting on my paperwork from the house. He also, for those of you guys who are interested, and I told him, I said, well, when I do the interview with him, I said, that's the time for you to pretty much, sell yourself, market your business. But what he told me is, he said, J once you get your paperwork for your house, he says you have everything you need to become a resident here. He said I can have everything fast tracked for you. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, how much is that gonna run me? He said, don't even worry about that. But once I find out the price on, to get fast track, because he told me, he said, you have a banking account here, you've traveled to the country more than 5 times, and then also you have property. He said that is enough to get yourself fast track as a resident. He said, but once you get your paperwork, you got to do it right away, right away. So that's going to be my next move, guys. Once I get all my documents, I'm gonna get my residence here, and then that will enable me. Because what I was trying to do, I was trying to get a loan, through the bank here, and they told me, I'm like, because I'm hearing, different things. I know a brother that got a loan to buy an apartment out in La Romana, but for some reason, Ben Reservis they didn't want to give me the loan. They wouldn't even talk to me about a loan. They told me that I have to be a resident here in order. I said, but does it having property here count? You know what I mean? I'm not going nowhere. That should be enough. But they said no, it's not enough. I need to be a resident Dominican Republic in order to obtain loans, a driver's license, and all of that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it so that I can make a lot more investments here. I mean, because they're willing to give you the money. They're willing to get, and I make enough money to whereas they would give me the money. It's just that I got to show proof that I'm a resident. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's pretty much my situation here with this car rental, and thank God I'm okay. I'm all right. My back don't hurt, none of that. I'm all good, guys. I'm all good. I'm just thankful and blessed that I because it was it's a scary feeling. The last thing you want to be is stuck somewhere where you don't know anybody and you don't got anybody to call. It could be especially being a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, and I'm like, damn, I'm in this big city. I'm not gonna hold you. I did panic a little bit, and what dawned on me, Junior, he saw me post some stuff on TikTok, and he's like, "Yo, Jay," because I said head into in the TikTok, I had the caption head into Santo Domingo, but I was heading that way, going to another city, and he's like, "Yo, when you in Santo Domingo, hit me up." So once I got into the accident, I was like, you know what? Let me call Junior. He did tell me to hit him up, and you know he answered right away, and he was at my rescue, man. He was. So I will forever be grateful of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, it put me at ease, being able having somebody there through the whole process, and then on top of it, he is Dominican. He speaks, he speaks Spanish, so he was able to, communicate, with the tow truck guy, got the car up on the lift, and I appreciate that, man. And that's why I say it all the time. For those of you guys that don't like being social, it doesn't cost anything to say hello, to start a conversation when you see someone like yourself, a foreigner in another country. You know what I mean? I even made a connection with the guy at the Fetteria, the one that spoke, that told me about the I shouldn't have to pay for a towing fee. He was from the Bronx. Me and him end up exchanging numbers. Come to find out, he's got his own company in Santo Domingo, and he showed me his. I'm like, look at I met because where I parked the car at, it was in the Fetteria. For those of you guys who don't know what Fetteria is, it's like the Home Depot of Dominican Republic. He was going in there buying supplies, and when he see me sitting down and he looked at the car, he's like, "Oh man, what happened?" I was like, "Oh, you speak English?" He said, "Yeah." And then he asked me where I'm from. I'm like, New York. He said, I live in New York too. I'm like, wow. And then he just so happened to be from the Bronx. And, he told me, he's like, he just had to get out of New York, and come back to his country and live a tranquilo life, So if you guys want to check that video out, he did, introduce himself a little bit, and I made a connection with him. He does, he built an industrial building here in Puerto Plata, and he also showed me the some of his quality work that he has done in Santo Domingo. So I told him, I said, well, Santo Domingo is not really my territory, but I do have people that are looking to, get houses built and apartments and all of that stuff. So if in case somebody comes my way, I'll shoot them your number. You know what I mean? And you can, make that connection or whatever. So him and I ended up making, that connection. So it goes back to what I'm saying, like it doesn't hurt to talk to people. You never know who you might come across or run across for that matter. You know, yeah. So, but yeah, that's what it is, guys. I just wanted to inform you with the BS in this whole car situation. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Here it is. I'm thinking like, damn, I got the 280,000 Dominican pesos, but did I really want to pay that? Hell no. And I just thank God, that I had somebody to, advocate and inform me on something that I didn't know. So now that I know it, I make it my duty and my business to inform you guys and share it with you, so that if you ever are faced with that kind of a situation, you know what you got to do. And whether you renting from a reputable car rental place, it doesn't even matter. You ask them, if in case I get into a car accident, who's responsible for towing the car? How much is deductible? Which you already know that you should be paying. If you want full coverage on that car, it's only costing you 1,000 Dominican pesos. That's it. But you ask questions like you don't know, and then that's when when they pull the okey doke, lying to you, telling you something other than, then that's when you go back like, well, no, I thought that in this country, a car's being, supposed to be towed for free no matter where you at in Dominican Republic. And I thought that, full coverage, I'm only responsible for paying a thousand pesos, and that covers me. And if in case you do get into an accident, like I said, and run and leave the car, you paid for the insurance, so they're gonna get their claim on that. They're gonna file a claim and get their money regardless. So yeah, it's good information, and I hope you guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was helpful, so that if in case like I said, you encounter that same situation, you guys know what to do. You know what to do. Yeah. I don't even know if I'm gonna get monetized for this for this video, only because, man. Wait, let me show you guys where I'm at. You got a whole bar over there. They play music all night. I'm not all night, but damn, they play the music till about I say about 10, 11 o'clock. And mind you guys, it's a Tuesday. Then you got a restaurant here. I mean, I always say, I don't have a problem staying in the Dominican neighborhood. I don't. Everybody pretty much minds their business. I don't really I say hello and goodbye. I'm not here to make any friends or anything like that. I don't want you coming to my apartment. It's very different from the States, you know. You don't just be inviting anybody into your home, you know. Not here, guys, not here, you know. But I have a few friends here and a few people. Oh, this is my builder. Que lo que? I'm telling them a situation con el carro
Yeah,
to
that's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy to advocate para me.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and his sister, man, they looked out. I said I'm forever ever grateful for that. So, hey, KSO, hey, we going for the barber now
No, no, tomorrow.
tomorrow. Okay, so ¿qué pasó?
No, I need a charger.
Oh, you need your charger. That's what you came here for.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, where is it? In the car? It's in the car though. All right. Yeah, he came to get his charger for the car. Hold on, guys. Let's see. But yeah, it's very, very muy importante. Yo dice es muy importante. Tiene un persona por advocate.
Yeah.
Sí, very important. Yeah, you know because
Un amigo, no, no, no one person who look you like a money, like a bank.
yeah.
It's different a friend
Uh huh.
and to another guy to see you like a bank.
Uh huh.
It's
Yeah.
different.
So basically, what he's saying is, they're looking at us like cash cows. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to differentiate who's really, here to help you and look out for you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, my boy, I mean, he's my builder, but we friends. We friends. He's been like just on the up and up, solid guy. I'm even when I'm talking about the house and all of what he has done, man. Listen, and I've always said to you guys that if I had to take losses so that you guys don't have to,
Thank you.
all right, bro. Hasta mañana. Hey, el agua, venga aquí.
Yeah.
¿Cuántos minutos?
50 minutes.
15 minutes? Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. I had to take a few losses, and I've always been transparent about that. But yo, it took me to find. I done been through about three maestros to find this guy, and this is a diamond in the rut. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know, but like I said, guys, it's just important to have somebody that can really help you when you're going through something, especially a local. You got to. It's important. It's really important. Because if you don't have somebody who's knowledgeable of things and can help you when you're in a situation, they're gonna take complete advantage of us. Complete advantage. And the funny thing about it is, the guy that I'm renting a car from, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, don't worry. The owner, he's a good guy. He's good. He's good. Nah, you ain't as good as I thought you was. Because if you was that good, you tell me I ain't have to pay nothing. You know." But y'all trying to extort money that we're not talking about a couple of $100s, bro. We talking about thousands of dollars here. When we know y'all, the insurance company's gonna pay you. My builder said they'll get that money in about a month. They'll file the claim, and then on top of it, they're gonna get a rental car from the insurance company. So they're not losing any money whatsoever. But here it is, you trying to get more money out of me and then file a claim after? It's crazy. Crazy work. Crazy work, man. You know? But like I said, this is what happens when you don't, research things and I'm gonna be honest, I'm guilty of it. I didn't research it, but I didn't realize, who would have thought that they would do something like this? Only because I've been renting from them for, this is my second. Okay, I rented when my mom came. So this is my second time dealing with this company. At first I didn't have no problems, the first time. And how I felt this rental company is through another expat. I found this guy through another expat. So I'm thinking that they solid. Um, See that? You hear that? Let me show you guys, but it's probably selling platinos or something. Okay. Yeah, they selling some kind of fruit or something at almost 8 o'clock at night, and then you hear the music in the background. You hear the locals over there playing dominoes and stuff. I mean, that's one thing about the local life, man. It's tranquilo. It's tranquilo, and I'm one of those brothers. I don't need to have a crowd. I don't. I don't need to have a crowd. I do my thing. I enjoy my time, and then I come home and call it a night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm just I'm so with all the information that I know now, with the car situation and even opening up a business. For those of you guys who haven't checked out that video, y'all might need to go and check it out. The quality of it wasn't so great only because I was using my laptop. No excuses, but it is what it is. But this brother, he brought Italian icy shop to Dominican Republic, and he's making him and his wife are doing great, doing great. I did a video on that, and y'all might need to check them out here if you're ever in Puerto Plata. They're located over in the over by the cruise ships, so they got a lot of business coming in and attracting a lot of foreigners. Now, when I tried his Italian ices, man, it just brought me back to my childhood. I'm like, bro, for one, they taste better than any Italian icy I've ever had because the flavors was just so exotic. But he was just very transparent about his startup cost, how much it costs to start up his business. And he told me straight up it was about $5,000. I told him, bro, I liked his product so much. I'm like, man, you might need to think about starting a franchise out here. You know what I mean? Seriously. And then he spikes them with a little rum too. So yeah, and he's doing very well. So I didn't already, started brainstorming for myself because that's my next step. You know what I mean? Opening up a business so that um, you know, I can have, streams of income coming in is just very important. You when you're living here, you got to have that Dominican mentality. You ask a Dominican, yo, what is it you do for a living? They'll tell you, oh, I I drive cars, I deliver, I do this, I do that. You got to have more than one source of income coming in to sustain yourself. I mean, if you're one of those persons that's living on your pension and living off of, assets that you have acquired in the States, that's something different. But if you want a fixed income, how far do you think your fixed income is going to carry you? Especially if you're living in places like, I hate to say it, Punta Cana. You know, um, I'm very content with my apartment here. As a matter of fact, it's a little messy only because I was away for the weekend, but I'm going to show you guys. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, I'm content with my little apartment here. This is a one bedroom, nice kitchen, my bed and stuff. Uh, the bathroom, so I only pay $193 a month for my spot, and I'm very much content with that. Internet costs me around 1,400 pesos. So when you're looking at your monthly cost opposed to what we pay in the States, it's not even a fraction of what we pay, you know what I'm saying, in the States, man. So the quality of life here, it all depends on your lifestyle and how you maneuver, groceries, you gotta shop around. You gotta shop around. I shop at the local spots and stuff like that. Cause I really, being here for 28 days, I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put myself on a budget. And I'll be honest with you, normally when I'm here, I'm usually here on vacation mode and I'm treating this one. You got local friends, and it's like, yo, just come. Let's go and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? This time around, I said, bro, I'm not doing any of that. And even with my builder, like with him, he's like, yo, let's go here. I'll buy the bottle. He's always willing to contribute to whatever it is that we're doing. And I have never really encountered that, with a lot of locals. They're like, yo, if you treating, they're not gonna tell you no. You know what I'm saying? But being on a budget, I think the whole month I've been here, I probably spent about ah, maybe like $700-800. I'm just talking about for myself, and it would have been less than that. I hired, a cook to come in. She cooked for me about 3 times. Y'all will see all of that footage. I had her cook. She cooked for me about 3 times. That's like 3,000 pesos every time she came. So we're talking about $50. You know what I'm saying? But it was enough food to last me for like like 3 days. I don't eat nothing after 3 days. After 3 days, it's in the garbage. But yeah, she cooked enough meals to last me for a couple of days so that I have here. You know what I mean? But the lifestyle, it's all of how you want to live here. I am very much low maintenance. I don't have to do a lot. I'll get up, go to the beach, go for my walk, go to the gym, start my day, and by the time it's this time, I'm home in my crib, Netflixing it and doing stuff. You just doing things around the house or whatever. But like I said, the quality of life is just so much better. I'm like, yo, it's what, Tuesday? I'm out of here next Tuesday, and the depression is already starting to kick in, guys. Y'all have no idea. It's already starting to kick in. And this is why I said, now that going back to what I said about that brother and his wife opening up that icy shop, guys, start brainstorming things, And first of all, the startup cost is nowhere near what we would pay in the States to open up a business. It all depends on what kind of business you're looking to do. Um, I'm not telling you what kind of business I'm looking to do, but I didn't already brainstorm because I don't want nobody stealing my idea. But now that I know what kind of business that I want to do, and I'm doing a business that's going to not just attract the expats that live here, but I'm going to be introducing something different to the Dominican culture. You know what I mean? Stuff that they never had, and stuff that expats that are missing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, and I had to piggyback off of the brother that's with the Italian icy shop, and like I said, his ices are the one of the best Italian ices I've ever had. It was to the point I ate that whole damn, and it was about this big. I'm not even gonna hold you. That cup was about this big, and I ate it all during the whole damn interview. I ate it all. It was so good. And I said, bro, this is nostalgic. It just brings me back to my childhood. I said, you got something really good here, man. I told him you really got I couldn't even recognize the flavors because they tasted so exotic, you know? And I asked him, he said, man, all this is all natural. This is all natural. I'm like, oh man. Oh man. So yeah, my goal is now I done figured out what kind of business I want to do. So now I got to go and research this business, and do my research on what it is, how to get, things shipped and what I should ship and all of that, and incorporate, what I already do with what I'm going to do with this business, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I already found the location. I'm just like, I'm hoping that before by the time I get ready, those the stores in that plaza are not bought up because the location is great. I don't know if you guys, whoever has been to Puerto Plata, you'll know in Jumbo, they're making that a plaza. So they done built about maybe about eight to I say about eight little storefronts right in Jumbo Plaza, and that is the gold mine right there. Only because you got so many foreigners going in and out of there. You got it's a for those of you guys who don't know what Jumbo is. It's like uh I would kind of call it like Target of the United States, but on next level because they sell like food and hot food and stuff like that there. You know what I mean? Or yeah, I would say more so like a Target. Actually, I would say Walmart. I would say Walmart of Dominican Republic only because they got hot food and stuff like that in there. But in that plaza, I could see myself opening up my business there and doing very, very well. especially with what I do. Oh yeah, hands down, hands down. So I encourage you guys. For those of you guys who are looking to make that move, whether it be Puerto Plata, Santo Domingo, and I was talking, me and Junior was talking about this yesterday. He was telling me, he said, um, like a few years back, because he's been in Dominican Republic for quite some time. He said, and guys, I'm rambling, I'm talking. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe, guys. Hit them likes, hit them shares and subscribes. But he was telling me, he said, brothers started coming down here and opening up barbecue joints, wing spots. There's a guy that's doing wings and wings and waffles here. They're bringing a lot of different things to Dominican Republic. He said Dominicans really wasn't eating barbecue food. He said, man, there's so many barbecue joints out in Santo Domingo now. Yeah, and he was telling me that he's got a friend that is a manager at Wingstop. He's looking to bring the Wingstop recipes to Dominican Republic and opening up and doing a food truck here. And that's another thing. Food trucks are becoming a thing here in Dominican Republic. If you're trying to do something cost effective, that might be a better option for you opposed to renting a storefront, because now you're saving money on the overhead. You're not paying monthly rent. Okay, yeah, you might spend and food trucks. To buy a food truck here in Dominican Republic, we're talking about maybe like $6,000. It's not a whole lot of money. So the overhead, you're going to save a lot of money on the overhead, especially if you got something good. And I know, for those of that's been following me, I cook my ass off. I'm not just a cook, I'm a baker, so I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve. And at my age, you don't, I put it to you this way. Whatever you do in life, if it's not a passion, I say don't do it. Cooking and all of that has always been my passion, but I'm at the I'm at the point in my life where I don't want to be in the kitchen all day every day. I don't want to do that. Not at 45. You know what I mean? So I figured like what I would do is train people, and just manage it myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the route that I'm gonna go. And then also, finding quality people to work for you. That is a big challenge here in the Dominican Republic. I hear it all the time. So, knowing all of this, it just puts me ahead of the game. You know what I mean? So I know, okay, if I'm going to hire people for my business, I got to make sure I'm giving them good incentives to keep them. You know what I mean? Because that's important. Paying your workers, what they're worth. It's very important to do that. So, yeah, man, I got a lot of brainstorming. I have done a lot of brainstorming. So now all the brainstorming I have done, I'm ready to take that back home and go and work my ass off, because once I get back, soon as my feet land on the ground, man, the hustle is real. I'm back on my grind, so that I can come back here and and the good thing with my situation is kind of work that I do in my job, I could take a leave of absence for 1 year, and my job has to hold my position for 1 year. So let's just say I decide to come out here for 1 year and start up a business. I got 1 year to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen within that year, I know I can take my ass back to New York and I got a job waiting for me when I get back. So that's a plus. You know what I mean? Not everybody has that ability to do that, but for those of you guys who are thinking about it, I say, work hard. And even with my apartment here, I was talking to my builder and his sister, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm paying $193 a month. Um, I'm on the fence. I got until Tuesday to figure out whether or not I'm just going to keep this apartment for myself or Airbnb it. But there's pros and cons to this shit. Not a lot of Americans or foreigners want to stay in the Dominican neighborhood and hear music like this shit all night. It doesn't bother me none because I'm gonna get my sleep regardless. You know what I mean? So I figure what I'll do is I'll keep the apartment open for friends and family who are looking to come here. And but I'm not gonna put it on an Airbnb. I'm not gonna do that. I'll just keep it, and whoever, like anybody from my YouTube channel, few friends that I have, met on the YouTube channel. They want to come and rent my spot out for a couple of nights. You know, no problem. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna do the whole Airbnb thing. You know, yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, every I tell people that's looking to make this move here, you have to you have to know yourself and know what you really want, in terms of where you want to live and how you want to live. Like I said, this, as you see, I'm chilling, ain't nobody bothering me. I got a camera facing the property, and I'll show you. You see, I got a gate. This is my rental car parked here. You know what I mean? So I mean, for $193, I think I'm doing damn good. I think I'm doing damn good for $193 a month. I might have to turn this over and just look at the comments, because a lot of you guys are in here, and I'm not able to respond. But if I turn it this way, I can read the comments. It's a lot of you guys commenting here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. All right. So now that I turned it this way, I'm going to start from. Let me see. Let me see here. Wow, I didn't realize there was a lot of you guys in here. Um. All right. So uh, David Easton, he says, I had a similar incident, backed into something, damaged a bumper, and an airport rental fixed it in Mint, and they still tried to charge me $1,000. Yeah, and here it is. See, you and we can't escape, whether it be the airport or the locals. They still gonna try to stiff us, man. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Um, Even in New York, brother, my brother got taken advantage of. I'm really sorry, but it's true. Um, why pay high interest rates in DR and get a personal loan in the US? Okay, so I'm glad you answered that, comma. Paying a Okay, it all depends on what you're getting a loan for. I don't plan on getting a loan to buy my house or build a house for myself. I'm getting a loan to do an investment properties. That's the difference. If you're doing investment properties, so what? Who cares about the interest rates? Only because once you sell it, you're not taking on a loan with the intent of paying it at its full term. You're taking out that loan to do an investment property, make your money back, and pay the loan off before, to avoid paying high interest rates throughout the whole term of the loan. You see what I'm saying? So that's why. That's why. And on top of it, here, they're more likely to give you a loan, opposed to them giving it to you in the United States, especially when it comes to minorities. I'm sorry. They make it so hard for us minorities to get business loans in the United States. I don't know what it is. Foreigners could come from, other countries, European countries, and go there and obtain loans and all of that. But small, minorities, African Americans, Hispanics, they make it so harder for us to obtain business loans. And you better hope, your business survives within that year, because all that money goes down the drain, and then you still got to pay it back. You know, at least here, okay, you know what? Let's just say you invest $10,000 in your business and it doesn't work out. I'd rather take a $10,000 loss than a 50, 60, $70,000 loss. You know, I'm just saying. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Um, That's why we are here, brother. Anytime. Yeah, shout out to Dominican Diaries again. That's Junior. For those of you guys who want to know who Dominican Diaries is, he's the brother that came to rescue me in Santo Domingo, man. Yeah. Why you're not putting them out partying hardy? I don't understand that. No, JD. When it comes to DR, you have to stop trusting people in Dominican Republic, and here it is. That's coming from a Dominican. Louis is Dominican, And I said it's just heartening to hear that from your, when somebody's saying that about their own people, man. So that right there is enough for us to that should be enough for you guys to know how to navigate, in this country, and keeping your circle small in terms of dealing with the locals here, man. You know, if you're gonna deal with the local here, deal with the local who's, you know, that you are mutually yoked with, you know. And I'm gonna say somebody, you know, like my lawyer, you know, these are the kind of people you want to be around. Lawyers, politicians, you know what I mean? People like that, that can help you, God forbid something happens. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of people you want to be encircled with. I'm just saying. Flex Mundo, shout out to Flex. Yo, mean in the world. Wait, you mean in the whole world, not just in DR. Why people think it's just DR? New York is the same shit. Yeah, I beg to differ. It all depends on what it is you know you going through. Flexi Mundo, be cautious in general as a human with anything and anywhere. Luis Herrera, um, let's see, Louis, what Louis say? Um, Maybe I need to get in contact with that lawyer for that. Well, listen, I'm going to be doing a live with my lawyer. Yeah, Louis. I mean, those of you guys is looking to become a resident here. It's not a bad idea because now you establish credit. I didn't already have my banking account, and for those of you guys who don't have an account here that's been traveling here, I highly suggest you get that account. And keep money in there. You keep money. See, I'm very disciplined, and the good thing about it is, because I'm not count. Tell me if I'm wrong. For those of you guys who have bank reservists, I tried to use the card in the United States. It didn't work, which is a good thing because I didn't really want it to work in the United States. What I plan on doing is every time I get paid, I'm transferring money into that account, transfer money to that account. I'm going to keep building up my savings here in Dominican Republic. You know what I mean? To the point where when I come, now it's to the point I don't even have to come here with money. I fly without money now. Yeah. And it's a great feeling to just be able to, and it's an easy process. For those of you guys who are living in New York and looking to open up an account, I did it. I did a vlog about it, so you can go back and check that vlog out on how to go about opening up an account in Dominican Republic. How much Dennis Rodriguez? How much they hit me for? They didn't get me for anything. Like I said, I didn't pay a dime, and I'm not going to pay a dime. Tomorrow we're getting up early and we're going to that place to get the documents that I need, the papers that I need to present to the uh the uh the insurance company to present to the rental car people, let them know um y'all not getting anything. You file a claim with your insurance company. So no, I'm not paying anything at all. And nor should you. Let's see. Uh just reading some Luis Herrera, I'm Dominican. He pasado mucho con gente. Okay. You speaking Spanish, Louis? My builder left. Even for Dominicans ourselves. Food trucks started with Colombians and Venezuelans, Jay. Yeah, and there's a lot of them doing that, and we have a lot of food trucks in New York, a lot. And you know, like I said, it's not a bad business to get into, especially because the thing about the food truck is you could move it wherever you want to move it. You know, if you want to drive to Santo Domingo one weekend and go out there for a festival and park out, to make your money. You're not limited to what you can do when it comes to having a food truck. And to be honest with you, here in Sosua is now becoming known for food trucks. I'm starting to see more and more food trucks in Sosua. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You just gotta if you're gonna my advice to you, if you're looking to get tap into the food truck industry, you just have to bring your A game. You have to be innovative, and you have to bring something to the Dominicans that they've never had before. Because and the price point, I can't stress to you enough about the price point. Your price point has to be good enough to whereas the local people can go there and patronize your business for sure. Um, that's why I built houses and apartments. Yeah, I mean, apartments is the way to go. It's definitely the way to go, especially if you have the money to invest here. I say do apartments and capitalize on it, like the I see. Okay, okay. Think the yeah, Baka. Okay. Um, shit. Hey, hey. Okay. Yeah, the water truck guy is here, guys. Hold on. I ran out of water, so I got a huge Tanako up on top of my roof. Um, so they coming to deliver the water. ¿Qué lo que mi amigo? Bien, gracias a Dios. ¿Quién es el carro? No, yo no, tú no sé. Okay. Ah, tiene más espacio. Necesita más espacio. Okay. All right. Damn. All right. Hold on, guys. I don't want to end this live. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna take y'all around the community and show y'all what's going on over here. Is that one? No, it's not. Let me see. I gotta ask my neighbor downstairs whose car this is. ¿Tú sabes el carro? No? Okay. Because necesito agua para allá. Let me show y'all the neighborhood. I'm gonna turn the camera around, guys. Walk down my stairs. Give y'all a view of Puerto Plata, where I'm staying in Los Coco. Uh, Salud. Okay. All right. So here you got a restaurant right here. Okay. Okay. Gracias. You got them playing. You got them playing. I don't like pointing cameras at people, but you got the guys over there playing dominoes. Yeah, my neighborhood's a little lit. It's a little lit, but like I said, it's safe. You know, it's Dominican culture. You know, this is what they do out here. Oh, necesito entrar. Venga, ven. Es arriba. Arriba. Yeah, they had. I mean, they gotta go through hoops and ladders to get this water delivered up there. Tú nunca aquí. Ah, pero tú sabes Juan, ¿sí? Juan, mi amigo Juan. No. Okay. They. I see. Uh-huh. Yeah, they got to go through loops and ladders to get up there. Uh-huh. It's bien. Okay. All right. Be careful. And doing it with those on, like they built different. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'd be scared of shit doing that with shoe with sandals. Nah, we don't do that back home. That's real Dominicanito. Word. But yeah, so this is where I'm at, guys. I'm let me see. Burgers. It's not sad to hear that from our own people. It's not sad to hear that from our own people. It's just like how Americans are with Americans or any country, Jay. You have good and bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're right. There's good and bad everywhere. You know, it's good and bad everywhere. However, when you know you come into a country to help, grow the economy and invest in a country, you know, it's just I think that we encounter more of being gringos here than anywhere else. That's just my opinion, man. I'm only saying based on what I have experienced, trying to look out and help people. You just can't you just it's no more, put it this way, all the shit that I've been through is no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's it. Them nice guy days are over. Done. I'm done. You know? It is what it is. I'm done. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Let me show y'all how they gotta get this water in here. For those of you guys who've never seen water being delivered, and that's another thing, like having a Tamnaco, like my apartment. For those of you guys who don't know, to build this kind of apartment, guys, we're talking 15,000 USD. This is what my builder did for 15,000. New floors, new windows. You know what I'm saying? The right people. It don't cost a lot of money, to build. If you in the right hands. Like I'm like, all the money that I spent, man. you know, you can't be mad, but it is what it is. But now that I know what I know now, I can't wait to do. I can't wait for my next adventure. You know? Oh yeah, because my Bill and I, we already talked about it. Like someone once told. My bad, guys. I got disconnected. I don't know what happened. I must have hit something. Hold on. Okay, yeah, they went. They going all the way over here. Hold on. Okay. Huh? The grande. Más grande. Uh-huh. The Tanako. Grande Tanako. The big one. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? The big one. The big. No, solo grande. No dos, just solo el grande. Because I think it's only connected to the big one. I think. Okay, so do both. Do both. Do both. Quanto is what? 500 pesos? I paid 300. He tell me, Juan tell me. Yeah, for the big one. How much? Yeah, Juan told me 300 pesos. Yeah, I gotta see this. This is what I'm talking about. Getting gringo, asking me how much I pay. You should already know how much it is. Why I gotta tell you? You see what I'm saying? That this is the kind of shit I be talking about. Cause I listen. I only got 500 pesos on me. How much Quanto? Okay, hold on, guys. Let me text Juan. Give me 1 minute. Uh, yeah, I had to ask them if they only fill in the big one. Yeah, Juan told me. He told me 300 peso. Mi amigo tell me 300 peso. Yeah, that's what he told me. Uh huh. Looking at me like I'm supposed to be paying more. Get the hell out of here. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, guys? You if you don't know any better, they'll get over on you. And 300 peso, I mean 500 pesos is not a lot of money, but pay me, charge me what I'm supposed to pay. You know what I'm saying? Charge me what I'm supposed to pay, and nothing more, nothing less. Now, see, if they charge me what I'm supposed to pay, then I give you a little tip at the end. But you take away from your tip when you do shit like that. You know what I mean? Because y'all know us as foreigners, we don't. Dominicans don't tip. They don't. They don't tip. Locals don't tip. But and me as a foreigner, I don't have a problem tipping. But you take away from your tip when you trying to, and this is why I don't tip because I already know, in most cases, you don't already got your tip by Gringo and me, so you get no tip after that. Yeah, because Juan told me, my builder told me it's gonna cost me $300 to fill up the Tanaco, and then here it is. I'm like, here it is. You telling me how much, and I'm willing to give him 500. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to do that. It's not a problem. The little one. Hold on, guys. He LD say, okay, yeah, guys, sorry about that. I'm texting my builder. That's why his ass should have been here. Cause I'm like, I'm not sure if I got two. The big one isn't connecting. Okay, solo. LD said the pequeño. He said that the grande is no conectado. I thought the big one is connecting. Is the he feel the small one or the big one? See, I guess that's why it's coming out. But see, they got to connect that big one because, that's another thing. When I, guys, I would tell you, being here, and this is something that you guys are going to have to exercise, and that is called patience. Otherwise, you're going to lose your shit. You are going to lose your shit. I'm telling you, you will lose it. And I mean, we're talking about, and because I'm one of those people. If I tell you, 7 o'clock, I'm gonna be on time. I'm gonna be on time. But that's not the mentality here. It's just not. And no matter what you do in business here, when you're handling business with, with the locals here, bro, you just it'll frustrate you. So do know that that's to be expected. When you're trying to, navigate yourself and doing business here. What it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. They're just never on time, never. And I haven't counted it so many times. So just know that if they tell you 7 o'clock, give yourself an hour, maybe an hour, 2 hour window. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Uh, Gracias, primo. Hey, ¿cuánto is 300 peso? En peso, tres. He said, no entiendo. Hold on. Hey, just take this 500 pesos and go ahead, man. Oh, yeah. Because I'm not gonna fight over 200 extra pesos. Here, I'm not gonna fight over that. Gracias. Yeah. I'm I just gave him 500 pesos. I'm not gonna go back and forth with y'all. But what they do need to do is connect that big Tanako because the small one, Okay, he's giving me some money back. He said 400. Okay, plus one. D-Man. Her 400? Okay, it's fine. It's bien. It's bien. Gracias. No problem. No problem, man. No problem. I'm not gonna fight over 100 pesos, bro. Not gonna do that. Um, don't take anything until your builder gets there, Jay. Um, but I think it's just good for you because you need to go through the process so that you can get through these situations when you are alone, brother. It's part of the learning side. It is, and it has been a learning lesson for me. All the things that I have encountered, and you take it with a grain of salt and know how to move. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate, but um it teaches me how to move next time, and then it helps. It not also teaches me, but it enables me to help others. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Yeah. But my builder told me it's 400 pesos, so I gave him an extra 100. You know, it's bien, hermano. Buenos noche. Yeah, yeah. It was 400. I gave him five, and he actually came back with 100 pesos. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's what it is. I've been on here for a while. Um, let me see. Go and make sure they connected, Jay. Yeah, they connected. They connected. Once they pour the water in there, I'm good. I'm good to go. But yeah, man, just start, guys. For those you guys is looking to make this transition, um, I love it here. I'm not. The Dominican Republic is a beautiful place. I visited a smaller city by Iguana, which, and one thing I will tell you guys, if nothing else, and I think sometimes I feel like I do be repeating myself over and over again, but I guess I just feel like when you are traveling to this country, especially for those who are well traveled here, you've been here for quite some time. There's no reason why you shouldn't be moving around. Experiencing by Iguana was a great experience, man. A smaller city, population. I don't know what the population. Now I'm curious to know what the population is in by Iguana, but I will say that it's a very small city. A lot of poor people live there. Even those houses that they you see a lot of those wooden houses that they built, back in like the 70s and 60s. I mean, like you see houses like that still standing still. And I mean, some of them were even linked over, like ready to just like collapse. I'm like, damn, it's a lot of poverty, but one thing I will say is that the people there were so welcoming and inviting. They'll give you the last off their back, man. And that right, I felt honestly, guys, Iguana is one of the safest cities. I felt so safe there. I'm not even gonna hold you. I mean, I feel safe in Puerto Plata, but I'm like, yo, this place is safer than Puerto Plata. And that's because everybody knows everybody. They'll take care of you. Like if you get lost, like you don't ever have there in that city, you don't have to worry about getting robbed and those things. Nah, they take care of you over there. And surprisingly, there's like cameras on every block. Yeah, even though it's a poor city, they got cameras all over that damn city, man. you know. I went to the discotheque there, which they nightclub. They call Dominicans call it the discotheque. I was in awe. I was like, yo, like I've been to the discotheques here in Puerto Plata, but that discotheque was kind of lit. I'm like, man, beautiful women. And for those of you brothers and sisters that like Afro Latinas, oh my God, I was just in Afro Latina haven, man. It's so many like beautiful melanated people that live there, man. Oh man, they're beautiful rivers. I visited the cast. They got waterfalls, man. They don't have beaches in Bayaguana. The nearest beach is like if you want to go to a beach, I think the nearest beach might be like San Pedro Or and we went to San Pedro too. We went nothing. By the time we got there, it was kind of late. I was a little pissed because I'm like, damn, we took this drive for nothing. But just to experience, San Pedro in the night, it pretty much was like ghost town. And San Pedro actually has a Molly Cone too. But I always say, for you guys, travel out to DR. Like, even you got to step outside the box, especially if you want to experience the culture. You got to step outside the box. Get on Carib Tour bus. You could pretty much go anywhere in Dominican Republic on Carib Tour bus for like $10. You can't beat that. And then the views on the way going, beautiful views. Oh man, it was just amazing. That drive, because what my boy did was, I had lost contact with my friend, a local friend living in Santo Domingo, and actually, when I first went to Santo Domingo, I had no contacts in Santo Domingo, and my cousin was he traveled. Santo Domingo was his spot. He's like, "Cuz, I got you. Don't worry. You want to go?" He set me up with one of the locals that lived there. He said, "You ain't got to worry about them robbing you and this and that." So that's pretty much how I met my friend. My cousin then died. He died during COVID. R.I.P. But I hadn't been to Santo Domingo in like maybe about 4 years. It had been some years. So he hit me up on TikTok. He friended me on TikTok. I was like, oh shit. So he's like, yo, what you doing? I was like, yo, I'm here in Puerto Plata. He's like, you are? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, you need to come my way. So we going back and forth. And he's like, um, yo, you really want to come to my city? I'll get on the Carib Tour bus and come and get you, and we'll drive the rental car back. And that's what he did. He came all the way to Puerto Plata, because I was going to get on the Carib Tour bus, but it was Holy Week, and the only bus leaving out of Puerto Plata was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it takes you from Puerto Plata to that side to Bayaguana. We're talking about 4 hours, and that was like a 4 hour and 30 minute drive. You know what I'm saying? On Carib Tour bus. So he came out here and we left Puerto Plata at like 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time we got to Bayaguana, we got there about like 10 o'clock. Yeah. So yeah, but I always say, if you're not one of those people that's adventurous and don't want to drive, jump on Carib Tour bus and just go to a different city. Do your research on that city, and that way you kind of have an itinerary once you get there. You know what I mean? And like I said, I felt so safe. I had a nice little Airbnb there. It wasn't nothing like extravagant, but it was comfortable enough for me to be there for a couple of nights. AC, Wi-Fi, Netflix, a TV. They has fridge, stove. It was nice. Quaint but nice. You know what I mean? But I love the experience, man. I told my boy, I said, well, now that you here, to buy iguana from Santo Domingo, the capital, it's like an hour drive from the capital. But like I said, beautiful city. And one thing I will say too, guys, the land over there is cheap too. I think the further you go out, non-tourist areas and stuff, you'll find land to be relatively inexpensive. So for some of you guys is looking for that country life, start doing research on the smaller cities, man. I don't have no, like, if I had it my way and I was making the kind of money that I would like to make, I have a house in different cities in Dominican Republic, and you don't got to build nothing crazy. Like, one thing I will say, the houses in Bayaguana are relatively small. You don't really see like big houses that you see here. All the houses that I have seen, I would say about 85 85% of the homes that are built in Bayaguana are flats, one level homes. That's mainly what you see there is one level homes, guys. Yeah, your story, your story sounds scary. Uh, I mean, it would be scary for somebody that doesn't know, about Dominican Republic. It would be. But guys, I can't believe I've been on this live for about an hour and 29 minutes, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. But I'm gonna that's the Dominican culture. Man, one thing I love about the Dominican culture, my favorite thing about DR is, you know, on the weekends, everybody goes to the playa or the river. I prefer the river all day. You know what I'm saying? Only because the rivers, everybody brings their food, and you can just chill in the water without waves knocking you over and shit like that. Granted, around this time, the water's a little bit on the cold side, but summertime, I could enjoy the river every weekend. Every weekend I could see myself just going to the river, barbecuing, sancocho, arroz guandule, you know what I'm saying? I really enjoy, the rivers, and that's one thing Bayaguanas is known for beautiful rivers. And actually, in all actuality, being in Bayaguana and going to that Rio, that was the first time I ever been to a waterfall in person, like seeing an actual waterfall and being inside, yeah, it was a nice experience. Something that you guys should experience, man, for real. So yeah, get out there, research and dive into the Dominican culture, and don't be afraid to do it. You just gotta be adventurous and not be afraid. Yeah. So with that being said, man, I'm about to end this live. Enjoy the rest of my night. Y'all be easy out there. I appreciate all the love and support. For those of you who've been watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until then, guys, I'll be talking to y'all soon. And you know what? I might give an update on this whole situation with this car. You know what? I might just go live. I might just go live because I want to see their faces. My open up your stream for your guest. Street interviews. Open up my stream for my. I'm actually doing this on my phone. Let me see. I mean, I could invite guests. Let me see. Let me see here. I'm gonna see. Let me post it. Let me just see something. Let me see, guys. Let's see if it goes through. All right. Well, that's the stream right there. That's the stream. I don't know if you can copy it and paste it. Street interviews, because normally when I do open up the stream, I usually do it on my laptop. Yeah, I usually do it on my laptop, and I usually just send it to whoever wants to come on. That's normally what I do. But yeah, I'm about to close out. As y'all see, the eyes is getting a little red. It's been a long day for me. I'm tired. I'm about to just sit back, have a president day, and enjoy the rest of my night. But until then, guys, I'll be talking to y'all once again. I appreciate all the love and support. And for those of you guys who just coming in, just go back in. Go. Y'all gonna have to check the live out from the beginning. All right. Until then, y'all be safe. Peace and love always, guys. I'm out.